How does industrial development impact Arctic cities? Imagine a place where icy landscapes meet modern buildings, where traditional ways of life are changing because of new industries. That's what is happening in Arctic cities today. These cities are growing fast, driven by industries like oil and gas extraction, mining, and infrastructure projects. But this growth comes with both good and bad effects. On the environmental side, industrial activities can be very disruptive. For example, drilling for oil and gas often involves heavy machinery and infrastructure that can damage the fragile permafrost, permanently frozen ground that holds the Arctic ecosystem together. When the permafrost thaws, it releases greenhouse gases like methane into the atmosphere, speeding up climate change. Mining can lead to the destruction of habitats for animals like polar bears and migratory birds. It also causes pollution, noise, and light that disturb the natural behaviors of wildlife. Plus, human activities can introduce invasive species that threaten native plants and animals. All these factors make the environment even more vulnerable as the climate warms. Urban development in Arctic cities is also affected. Many of these cities grew around resource industries, so new projects mean expanding urban areas. Sometimes, this leads to sprawling, low-density growth with limited infrastructure, which can be hard to manage in such cold climates. Other times, cities have to reclaim land or convert industrial sites into residential areas, often using special construction techniques to deal with the extreme cold and unstable ground. Building in the Arctic is tricky because traditional methods don't work well with permafrost and seasonal weather changes. This means engineers need to use materials and designs that can withstand the harsh environment, which can be costly and time-consuming. Economically, industrial development can bring jobs and new opportunities. It helps diversify local economies beyond traditional hunting and fishing. However, it can also put pressure on housing and social services as populations grow. Indigenous communities sometimes face disruptions to their traditional lifestyles and cultural practices because of environmental changes and new industries. While some cities try to balance economic growth with protecting the environment and respecting local cultures, it's not always easy. Large projects like mining or oil drilling can sometimes lead to environmental damage or social conflicts if not managed carefully. To keep Arctic cities sustainable, careful planning is key. Monitoring industrial activities helps prevent environmental harm. Construction methods need to be adapted to the cold and permafrost. Involving local communities and indigenous peoples in decision-making ensures that development respects their way of life. Infrastructure investments should focus on resilience, making sure buildings and roads can handle the extreme weather and climate shifts. In the end, industrial development in Arctic cities offers chances for progress, but it also requires careful management. Protecting the environment and respecting local cultures are vital to making sure these communities thrive now and in the future.